Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin, and as of right now, we have 50 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We would like to exceed 100 participants on this call, and I continue to see more and more people getting on, and that's just really exciting. And make sure that the new people that you bring on to Renatus get set up with these calls, or the information on how to get onto these calls each and every morning. Every once in a while, I've had an issue with getting the Facebook Live going. So unfortunately today we don't have that going, but I will be contacting Zoom today to get that figured out so that hopefully we can be more consistent with our Facebook Lives. But again, this will always be recorded and on our YouTube channel. So today we get to learn from Bill. Bill Predebon is an amazing individual. He actually trained on our Scottsdale team call last night, and it was a phenomenal training. I took a lot of notes. Bill has so much passion and just drive behind what he does with his business and with his life in general. He's very motivated, and he's very passionate, enthusiastic. Bill has a really interesting story, and I'd love to share some of his background. Before Renatus, he was a pro skier for 10 years, and that was in Vail, Colorado. He realized after doing that for so long, he was not qualified to do much else. He then got into franchise, and he owned a couple of stores, and due to lack of knowledge, that cost him the business, and he ended up losing everything. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing, didn't have education, and attempted to educate on his own, and he ended up being upside down in over $400,000 during the 2008 crash. He then found Renatus, and his first year in Renatus, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year as a loan officer and a realtor. Ever since then, Bill has completed around 150 deals. He's grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He's a marketing leader and a PIT team member, meaning he's a President's Advisory Council member in training. And we're very fortunate to have him as our trainer today. Good morning, Bill.
Keely, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound good.
Awesome. So I'm going to go to video here. I am actually on my laptop because my desktop is giving me technical difficulty. Can you see me okay?
Yep, we wouldn't know the difference.
Cool. That is good to hear because I don't know the difference. All right. Yeah, you had technical difficulties, and then I thought it was me, and then my computer, like literally I was just on Zoom yesterday, and then today I click it up and no volume on my speakers. And I'm just a blank idiot when it comes to computers, hardware or software. So it is fun. Right on. Welcome everybody. Keely, of course, thank you so much for being a trooper and getting through when we have these technical difficulties, being here every week. I meant what I said last week. It's just great to see you take care of this and lead by example and be a big part of this. And I'm telling you, there were, my job back in the day when I was first part of Renatus in the old company, I wasn't a top income earner. I wasn't a great marketer, but I wanted to be a part of what Renatus was about. And I wanted to be around leaders, and I wanted to be around, I wanted to contribute. And so my job was to run the venue and take care of the air temperature and make sure we had the meeting space and the chairs set up properly and the whole 9 yards. And so much like you, I was there early, I was there late, I was there taking care of things all the time. And most people didn't even know what it entailed. But for me, I think, and what you'll experience whenever in your own communities that you do this stuff, it pays off. I don't know, fundamentally, and it sets the tone for the rest of your career with Renatus, in my opinion. So anyway, I just really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
You're awesome. Cool. So let's see here. I don't know what happened there. All right. So speaking of training, you guys, now remember, okay, so I'm going to go over here to my little computer, 760-533-3141. That is my cell phone. Now, you guys, I'm going to tell you this. So I mentioned this last night on Scottsdale, and here's the thing, like most of you are here, there's 60 of you here. That's a little light today, I don't know why, but maybe it's the technical difficulty we had. But, you know, even yesterday there was over 100 of you on the phone for Michael, on the lines, on the computer, on the webinar. And here's the thing, the majority of you, like me, are here all the time. The coolest thing about this is that the things that you have heard and the things that you are learning are the things that you're going to use to, although it's meant for you, it's also meant for the people that aren't even on the call yet. As Michael said yesterday, welcome to the call if you're new. But you know, there's people in your organization that you don't even know, you haven't even met them yet. And when you do, you're going to be 5-star if you're not already, and you are going to be the one who's going to really train them and mold them and guide them and coach them through the Renatus system. And all of these trainings that you've heard over and over again are different little, you know, you go for an entire hour and you might get 2 things that are of value to you that you haven't heard before or you're not already implementing. So, so yeah, oh my gosh, you know what I was just thinking about? I'm going to do something really cool today that I'm going to, maybe we'll touch on it. I finish up this point and then I just thought of something. Okay, so so cool. You guys are in for a treat. Okay, so check this out. What I'm getting at is that remember, whatever it is you take from here, not everybody that you care about and that you that are a part of your world and your Renatus are on these calls. And sometimes they're not at nationals, and sometimes they're not at regionals, and sometimes they're not at Thursday night meetings or Super Saturdays or Property Port. And you can be somebody special and really reach out to people that either are, you know, on the same team as you are. Maybe you're not 5-star or you haven't built your own team yet, but you start to, but you're very well knit group of your own. Like if you're on Michael's team or Christian's team or whatever, and you just notice that some of the people whose names and numbers you may have that you've done real estate deals with or partnered with or perfect, James. Yeah, that was my thing. And everything. And so reach out to them and you can share some of the things that you're learning and how valuable these things are to you and encourage them to come back around. Whether they're on your team or not, whether they're paying you or not, if you miss some people in the room that you remember as being part of Renatus when you first got started or whatever, and they've trickled off, that happens, life gets in the way, and bring them out, you know, reach out to them and share an experience with them that you've had on one of these trainings or at the office or whatever, and remind them that, you know, at any given day, they can pick up where they left off and, you know, if they're 5-star, they can make 10 grand if they, you know, in a week. So, all right, but just a thought. So I've got some training I'm going to do that or in my head, but this came up last week and I just realized earlier, even before that chat, that my friend is on the line. And so this is really cool, you guys. So we got on the phone last week after the Zoom call and had an opportunity to chat. A good friend of mine, and you guys all know this individual. He is a rock star. He is a Northern California leader. He's been around since day one, even far before I was a part of this. Has stuck with Bob, and he and his wife, you know, when everything changed over was right there on the front lines, leading a team and building a team, and has been very, very successful in both real estate and business over the last decade with Renatus. And he's been a PAC member for years, and him and his wife, and they are top income earners every single year, breaking in the top 5, coming in at number 6, whatever the case is, just always around and always willing to help, and just always living life to the fullest. And we have the opportunity to have him on our call today as well. So he and I, we're going to chit chat and kind of tag team our training for you guys today. And he's going to share some great experiences and some nuggets. And there's nothing better than hearing from a top income earner and a PAC member at any given time. But with that, James, there he is. Welcome, brother. Come on off mute and say hi to everybody. My friend, you guys, James Leis is here on the phone. I think you're still on mute, James.
I am.
Perfect. Welcome.
That's better. How's everybody doing out there?
I think they are good.
Good. By the way, Bill, I was on last week, and I just got to admit that your training was absolutely phenomenal. And I just kind of popped in, and after the call, we jumped on and we started, talking about, the big month that you've had, and also your path with Renatus. And I figured, well, what it would be awesome to come in and just be kind of do an interview, and also have other people kind of ask questions and, kind of go back into the times that we get to spend when we get together. Both of us are, my wife's a big advocate skier, and I kind of got involved in skiing, looking at kind of using the same analogy of skiing as it was with Renatus, just getting started and not having the skill sets and having fear in front of me and going, oh my gosh, how do you learn how to go down some of these mountains that we go, and the fear that gets in front of you, and being somebody that doesn't live with fear, and fear being probably the word that gets in front of most people when they get started. I think Grant Cardone calls it fear and skills. What's higher, the skill or the fear? And as you get started, I use the analogy of skiing. You start on a hill that's flat and you learn how to stop pizza. And you are a racer, so you kind of understand this. The fear of going down this hill and going, okay, how do I stop? Well, I pizza, then I French fry, then I pizza, and then I French fry. Well, when people get started with, business and real estate, sometimes they've never been taught how business works. And as we get started in business and raising that capital and learning your education and increasing that belief and you learning the skills, and learning the skills is kind of like Bob Snyder teaching the 10-step. You've got to learn those skills, and then the fear's up here, and the skills, they start to pass each other. And now you don't live in fear, you just live in confidence. You see Michael's story, $3,000 his first year, and then watching that change. So everyone on the call, I use as I got involved in, business and real estate, I was scared absolutely to death. So I want to talk to you, Bill. Give us kind of an example of some of the things that you might have been scared when you got started, and then how, using the systems within Renatus, how you were able to overcome over time both the real estate side, and whatever you want to focus on, either the marketing side or real estate side, because I'll go through some examples of this, but I wanted to actually ask you, where were your breakthroughs?
I guess I think most people can relate to this, James. This is a good analogy. Man, I could run with that thing all day. You guys, so one of the things, if you can remember, and you've heard me say this, is that, we have what we know to be true, which is our life that we live which is whether we're a house person and we take care of the kids or the house, whether we are a coach and we train our kids in sports or music. And then we have our job that brings us in money, right? And so we know this job, we know that if we go there, we're going to get paid. We know that, so we have this thing, right? So for me, when I got started back in 2016 and back in with Renatus, there was the opportunity and the vision and the possibility of the income, James, that you and Lisa were making, and all the top income earners. And so I saw this opportunity and this opportunity to help people and build a team and really share with people how to do real estate. But I knew that two things were going to happen. I was going to have to bury myself in a second business, or I was going to have to take away from my real estate business, which is my bread and butter, right? Which is my job, which was my life, which was the thing that I knew that made me all the money I needed to continue on and pay the bills and keep buying houses and create wealth. So that fear, if you will, was how do I commit and do something I know I want and I desire and I believe will eventually pay off, but gives me no instant return, when I can go right back out into the world, not make any phone calls, and go find a deal, raise some money, and flip a house and make money. So although I was already in real estate, for everybody else, that's your job, that's your business. If you own a business, if you're an IT guy and you know it, and you're like, I go fix a computer, I get paid. I go call on a client, I get paid. So that would be it, James, is that transition from, eventually, otherwise you'd have to go all day, all night with your regular job or business, and then add in Renatus, and you don't sleep, and you don't go to any kids' games, and you don't have any weekends free, and you don't do anything, and you literally just burn yourself out on both ends of the stick, because those are your only other two choices. So
that's it. And let's start talking about the process as you go from in real estate and the process in a marketing business. Okay, we've heard of the thing, running the numbers. So Bill, you run enough numbers both in real estate and in enough people, finding the right people. Could you say that literally over time, how you learn how to communicate, writing offers, that skill set of running numbers and being confident that the numbers are going to give you the result?
So say that again.
Okay. Knowing real estate, you've got to evaluate enough deals and write enough offers, right?
Right.
So when you were talking about having a $74,000 month, and that started in September, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go find people and get this pipeline full, and I'm going to move forward. And then did anybody let you down with regard to said, they're all in, and then all of a sudden they changed their mind? Did it somewhat have an effect on you? Going, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. And most of the people on this call know, like I told the story of my neighbor, Eric. Now he and I are still talking, and I'm meeting up with him in the first week of February, but he's 100% qualified. He's 100% in. And then it was December 18th. I met with him when I was going to place his order and sign him. And he chose to put it off for another month and a half. And so had I been relying on that one person to add up to the other 7 people that I wanted to have for that month, you can't. We have to have a full pipeline. And the coolest thing is like some of the people that I'd been working on for a year finally came through. My general contractor that I've been working with for 2 years, who I've exposed heavily to the opportunity over the last several months, came through and decided, he talked to his wife and the timing was right, and he put the combo on his American Express on the 31st. And so absolutely, it is a numbers game. You do have to calculate, and there's going to be things that you're going to underestimate and overestimate. Someone might come in that you didn't expect, but you can't count on it. So you can never really count on anybody until the 7-day right of rescission is over. And so if we're chasing one person, James, or 2 or 3, especially if they're not warm market, we're faced with an obstacle that we could be let down very, very easily.
So that's for everybody on the call. It's almost impossible to do two pathways at once. So what we're talking about, because of the fact that I did marketing first, I got the call from Bob. I didn't have very many resources. And what Bob sold me on was the vision of Renatus. Now, let me share with you a little bit about, oh my gosh, going back to 2010. Me and my wife we made a lot of money in 2008. We found ourselves on the inner islands of Bora Bora, and we were living a life.
Yeah, dude, I'll never forget you guys. James they launched a product in 2008, and they had a contest, and James and his wife won that contest, you guys, and they won a trip to Bora Bora on a private yacht where there was two employees on what do you call them? Two shipmates on the boat per one customer. Dude, I was so pissed and so jealous and I wasn't even a marketer. I was at the national, you guys, and I was like, no way. And James, I think the numbers you sold. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt, but just so everybody knows.
So I want everybody to realize that I had not done real estate. I was just going out there selling the education services. There was a competition that said, hey, let's move forward. And I find in the hardest part of most of the economies in 2008, I find myself going for the competition. It was like a lot of people like you in London. See, you had a connection with a trip that you were not on, that when London trip came in, you said, I'm all in. And you went all in and you won. You focused on getting the result. And now when you focus on the result, you actually in your mind's world, the skill does not matter because the result is more important than the mind. See, people have to get past fear, and sometimes they have to set a goal, an intention. And when you set in a goal and an intention, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get that result, that's what happened when Bob said, you know what, those that go out and put the biggest numbers on the board and are going to go on this trip with me. And you because of the past. And the reason I brought that up, because I knew it would trigger you. I knew it would trigger you going back in the day, but I knew why you won going to London, because of a previous experience. I want everybody to know that your previous experiences control you. And the mind and the body actually controls the mind because of a past feeling. And if you know how to control this, you can actually win trips to London. You can actually do real estate. You can program your life because of the fact that you understand how to motivate yourself to create the future. And what it is we can live in the future present along with today's emotional state of being, and literally have the future in our hands. Now, if you want to study this, study Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's breaking the habit of being yourself. Now, the study of the mind, the body, and the soul, or how to go out and doing the work, is directly related to how to overcome fear. And so this is an example of something that I brought up only because I knew it would trigger Bill. Bill had a past experience sitting there. We go on the trip on the inner islands of Bora Bora. It was almost $1 million cruise line for a week. And then Bill's sitting in the audience going, I want to go. And then Bob says, by the way, we're going to London. He's like, no, I'm going to London. And literally in the second that you made the choice and created in your mind the trip to London. Oh my God. Bill came out of nowhere. I mean, he stopped his real estate. I mean, yes, it was going through. He was doing his normal, but he's like, I don't know about this marketing, but I know I'm going on a cruise. I mean, on a trip to London. And this is what I want everybody to realize. If you create an emotional state of being in the future connected to something that you are absolutely inspired by, then there is no fear. Because the work that you're going to do is a task that you have to do, which means you're going to get on the phone, you're going to make phone calls, you're going to create your list, you're going to learn the skills. You're going to get on the one-on-ones, you're going to get on webinars, you're going to put people through a very simple, easy 3-step video process. You are literally already in the future because you're so excited about the feeling of what you've already created. See, the body, you've now controlled the future, and you're using the systems that Renatus has provided you. Now, if you want to do it on the real estate, great. You want to do it on the marketing. So here's what I did to know this. I said, all right, how come property tours have become so famous within Renatus? Because real estate investors want to share their experience. And you know what, Bill, are you a validator like I am?
You know, I have to think about it, but I would guess that's, yeah, for sure, part like director and a validator probably.
We are both the same.
Right.
We are both the same. So when I was validated, I was being validated because I was helping people get involved in Renatus. I would literally enroll somebody because I had the feeling of being validated when somebody said, this is the most awesome opportunity in the flipping world. And then I just started building my team. All of a sudden, a real estate deal came in. I couldn't stop but go down to the deal, invite everybody to the deal, and then get fed from inviting people down to the property tour. Because the property tour, now I was being validated in all the time. And so I was using the property tour as a validation tool. I was using enrollments as a validation tool. And I literally was driven by my wife's commitment to get away from her job. See, it wasn't about me. I made my commitment about someone else. And this is where I know the future exists, when it's not about you anymore.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned something there, folks. If you can remember, intensives and absolutely, even more importantly, he said something, James, here, if you guys caught it, these property tours, honestly, they are marketing events disguised as real estate events. And when we understand that to its fullest, your marketing business can take off. The only real estate events that Renatus offers is the education and the coaching calls, right? And you network with people, and then outside of the Renatus network, you go ahead and do deals. But every event that we plan and every event that we host is a marketing event that looks like, even the masterminds, they are marketing events that look like real estate events, because people that are not a part of Renatus want to get into the masterminds. And that was the whole purpose of facilitating. When we can offer more value and bring more content and more availability and more possibility to the client and to the new student, they're going to be more excited about getting enrolled. And so that is why we host these. They are not for you to learn more. Your education is far great enough for you to learn. So, hey, James, I got Anthony reached out, and I think this is pertains to a lot of people. What's your take on this? And then I'll chime in, but I would love to hear from you, the PAC member. He says, my fear is being perfect, folks. Listen to this. If you can't read the chat, my fear is being perfect. What if I expose them and it's not a good first impression, and I lose them? I can't get them back because then I have exposed them. It's the procrastination and perfectionism. So you might not even talk to somebody because you don't want to say the wrong thing to them, and you want to prep them, and they want to be in the right time in order to see the information, and then they see it and they're not ready for it, or they see the wrong information, or you say it the wrong way, and then you feel like you lose them. So you literally don't do it because of all those reasons.
So that comes in to a previous experience. And in Landmark, as we go through, if anybody's ever studied and gone through Landmark, this was an aha moment for me. The aha moment was, it wasn't about somebody else. It was about myself not being good enough. And when I wasn't good enough, then I would connect my inner subconscious feeling of not being good enough. And literally that controlled my future of my life, because then I had judgment on myself. And I would expect somebody else, if they said no, that would make me look like, oh, wow, they said no to me, and I made it personal. And then that personal feeling goes into not being good enough. And now the cycle still continues, because now the body is still controlling the mind. It's really, so to get past this is make it, first off, not about you. So when you connect with somebody, think about a doctor. And when you walk in and you go, you know what? Somewhere in my body, I hurt. I think I broke something. And you walk into a doctor, and before you get in, what does the nurse have to do? Nurse has to ask you questions. They got to take their vitals. They got to see what their temperature is. They really got to evaluate you. And then you've got to go to the next step, where you walk into the doctor and he's reading the charts and he's seeing everything on there. And then a doctor is going to start doing what? Try to figure it out, look good, tell you about the college he went to. No, he's not worrying about him. He's going to now start to ask questions about you. He or she, depending on the doctor, they're going to go through and start asking questions to say, you know what? Why are you? Well, I was on my bicycle. I was going around a corner, and literally I hit a bump and snagged. I rolled over, and I put my foot down, snagged it, and I skinned my elbow and my knee, and I think I broke my ankle. I mean, I think I broke my leg. He's like, oh, well, if it was like you going, I'm not good enough, and I just got rejected because of the fact that I'm opening the door to learning about somebody else's situation. Hey, by the way, are you at a point in your life you're open for change? You're open for more money. You're open to pay less taxes. How would you like to learn how to pay off your mortgage in 3 to 5 years? How would you like a better quality of life? See, that is a door opener. See, that's a question. And when you open the door to a question, you're kind of like being a doctor. Doctor has to ask questions. Where does it hurt? What happened? And this is in real estate, because Bill knows this. Why are you selling? The number one most important question in the world in real estate is, why is you selling, and what's the pain point? Well, in life, there's no fear of me asking and caring about somebody from a position of love. If I'm truly in the space of love, is it about me? Because if it's about love, let me put this. If it's about love, then I'm truly operating from a space of giving, and I'm truly looking at it from a space that I really want to know about that human being. I want to know where the pain point is. I want to know the trigger points. I want to know why in life they may not be playing at the fullest. Why, if they're married, why are they not traveling around the world, enjoying life the way that they deserve to? And I'm going to get into that feeling and say, what's holds you back? And then usually it's a vehicle. Usually they're looking for something to get in as a vehicle. I call it Renatus. I call it learning. I call it education. And I call it a pathway to their future. And I'm simply going to offer them an opportunity by asking them a question. Well, if I could show you, a business, I could show you how you could learn how to pay off mortgage. If I could show you, and I literally let the videos do the work because I'm just an inviter to a new possibility. And that's where love exists.
So I love the way you guys, if you heard this, so he took this doctor analogy and Anthony, to answer your question there, like, you're exactly right. When we feel a fear of saying the wrong thing to somebody, that typically means that we are telling them something that we want them to know about. Where here, James took an approach where, wait, if I can learn about this individual and they answer my questions by telling me what the problem is and what they're looking for or what they're about, there's nothing I can say that's wrong because now they've already asked me for the information that I have to give them. And then I demonstrate by telling a story or showing a video. And it's never about James. James has no fear of saying the wrong thing to somebody because he took the time to get to care about them and love them and know them first before he told them something. If we're telling, we are not selling. If we're asking, we are learning about them, and we then can provide a solution. And that was James being a doctor in that fear. We will never have a fear of saying the wrong thing to the wrong person and letting them get away and exposing them like you said, Anthony, where it's possible that you can't get them back because you're absolutely, if the doctor walks in and goes, well, I went to school, and just like James said, and this is what I did, this is who I am, and I think you have a broken arm, and you're like, my leg hurts, and he'd walk out of there and prescribe you with some sort of ointment, and you're like, no, I need a surgeon. You never go back to that doctor. You're like, what the hell is the doctor? Same thing here. Right? So great analogy, James.
See, and I love that in the fear. You see, one of the things that I love about this business is that everything is learned. This is where Renatus goes, we offer education. Well, think about education. Then who's really the product of education? The education is literally you. You get to learn how to pay less taxes. So let's kind of give you an example of the power of this education. As a business owner, last year, I used the education. I put in the bookkeeper. I put in the accountant. I put in the CPA. I run an S corporation that's set up in 2012 because I learned how to do that. I put my estate planning together. I've got all my businesses. And literally at the end of the year, this is where accountability comes in. I clicked a button, had my CPA call my accountant, did all the taxes, did all the works, and literally sent out all the 1099s in my business. Done. Now, when I was a military guy, I was like, oh, I made $45,000 a year and I did the easy form, but that's not the same guy I am today. See, because of the education, I said what shows up in one area of my life will also show up in another area of my life. So I better be damn accountable to my money and my business and how I run and operate my business. Because if I procrastinate in one area, then I probably wouldn't do my taxes. I probably wouldn't get an S corporation. I probably won't do what the education teaches. Then velocity banking strategy doesn't come in because what's falling in one area because of my responsibilities is lacking in another area because what happens in one area will also happen in another. So when Renatus is a product of education, I go, okay, you're now the product. So why would you want to get through the velocity banking class? Because I get to pay off my mortgage? Duh, you can pay off bad debt. So is that important to you, paying off that debt? If you don't know how to do it, now here's where I let the education do the work, because I'm going to say, yes, you can learn how to do that strategy, or I can teach it to you and feel validated. Now, which one's going to make me more money? I'm going to sell the education because the education shows them how to pay off their mortgage in 3 to 5 years instead of 30 years. I'm going to let the education, Mark Kohler, do the work, because Mark Kohler is going to teach them when to set up corporations, when to create that, when to understand how to do it. So I'm going to let the education do the work. If people want real estate, well, I'm going to let the education teach them how to go out and do real estate. And the education will teach them what to do And so they get to be a product of learning. And this is where when you share your experience, it's not about, you can't, I can say, hey, Bill, I just bought an, flipping condo. I put it in my short-term rental. I got a HELOC in first position. I flipping am so jacked and excited that, man, that strategy I learned, and I'm so flipping excited about getting my passive income in a business and short-term rentals, and me and my wife get to use it and ski. And it's so flipping amazing how this education has literally changed my life. Now, is Bill going to sit there and go, is this a scam? Can you tell me that Renatus, can you tell me how much money you're making? Can you tell? No, because there's no judgment on my story. See, when facts tell, stories sell, I can send somebody a video of, this is Michael Huggins when he worked for Jiffy Lube, and this is Michael Huggins now, but what do you think he did? He got in the education, learned how to increase his belief, started working on how to contact and invite. He learned how to build trust and rapport with people. He probably asked enough questions for a needs analysis. Then he understood that the benefits outweighed the needs analysis. That's what the person wanted. And literally my job is just to give the information that they can now make a decision to see, hey, by the way, I love this education. It could absolutely change my life by learning how to go out there and do it, learning how to do this. So literally the process of connecting to another human being it's called the sales mountain. First off, you've got to learn how to generate leads. Second, you've got to learn how to contact and invite. You've got to be excited about what you believe in. Then you're going to build trust and rapport with whoever you're working with. Then you're going to do a needs analysis. Well, and this is a needs analysis to a guy that I just met. He sent me a text and said, James, we've been friends for a long time. And yeah, I know you're doing this, Renatus, and I know you're doing real estate, but I just got done paying $100,000 in taxes my first quarter. Can you help? Now, Bill, what do you think my answer was?
Of course.
All right. So we sat down for lunch. I opened up my computer. First off, I started really talking to him about, his needs, his pain. I said, how long would you want that pain to continue to happen to pay that much money in taxes? How would you like to learn? And he goes, yes, I can help you, but here's what I'm gonna do. I opened up my computer. I went in, logged into Helios. I turned it and I said, you mean you want to learn to pay less taxes? That's a good class. That's right here. You have debt still on your house, but you paid a lot. That class right there is going to teach you how to pay off your mortgage. Oh, by the way, if you want to get involved in real estate, that's probably the number one strategy for maximizing the tax code. And that's where we start learning about real estate. So what are you passionate about? Buy and hold, multifamily, commercial. And I said, well, those classes are right here. When would you like to start solving your problem? And he goes, you got me. And I said, it's all knowledge. I said, you've got all this money. There's the education. Now you can go try to pay all these professionals to try to do something, or you can learn how to do it on your own. Right now, I can't help you to know exactly what I know about the tax code because I took the class. So when would you like to enroll? That was it. Now, the opportunity of business and real estate, he's going to actually define his future based on what he's excited about. Remember, people create their own future because they live in the future feeling of the future presence, and they do the tasks that are created to actually create that future. So everyone on this call, your future has already been designed if you design it from a feeling, not from a past feeling, but from a future feeling. I'm talking about love and gratitude and gratefulness. So I'll use the analogy like Going back, Bill, when you knew that you could go on a trip to London, did you already know and feel you were on the plane? Did you already know you were looking at all the things over in London when you committed? When you knew you were going to go and there was a competition, did you know you were fully outright already in London before it happened?
I didn't think about the actual trip to London. What I thought about was the actual announcement of making it, of being in the top 10. And I envisioned that. So that feeling, that ability to be recognized at national, and just being able to tell my wife and take her with me and say, hey, I did it. And look what we get to do. Look what happened. Look how it worked. That is, it wasn't the trip itself. It was just all of that. And I told people on this call before, I'd never won, and I'd never really even competed because I didn't want to lose. So this time I just said to my, I just thought about the possibility that there's no reason why I couldn't give it a shot. And even if I fell short, I would still make some good money and change some lives.
So wanted to mention something about your drive. You're a winner. You like winning. And I don't know if that's true, but Wanda popped it up there and said, if you're an executive, you love winning. And you're going to go and do whatever you do to make it important to you. So you're going to go win. And then you're going to get validated by going on a trip. So the executive winning, the director lifestyle, and being validated on stage is what I heard. I heard Bill's most important life unfold in front of him. And then the tasks of doing the work and making the phone calls was just a byproduct of already living in the future. So everyone, I know that we're coming to the end. Everyone, I want you to know that the future already is designed for you. What we know about Renatus and what we know about the future of Renatus, because I'm sitting in, seeing the unfolding of Renatus from day one, and the first website and the second website and the third website, and our business center now turning into Helios, and the unfolding of what was going on with you is, I want you to know Bob Snyder has literally created the most amazing product in the industry of education. And his future and his vision of what he shared with me and what's evolved in 9 years was what he told me before the company even started. And I went in and I knew that without a vision, people perish. So in the vision of what you are involved in, what you are part of, is the vision of Renatus, as you haven't seen anything yet. You've seen a great product, a great company. You've seen it on the Inc. 5000. In the idea of the belief, if you were holding an absolute gold mine for every single human being that's out there in the marketplace, and you knew that was your direct link to your future is connecting with people, would there be any fear if the future was more important than the fear of you being you? No. This is what's so amazing. Those that get to control their mind will actually be inspired about what you're doing, and you will do the work by getting on the phone call and loving your next prospect. You will love your prospect so much that, you know what? I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. It's not about me. If I make it about me, then I'm going to take in and I'm going to become the victim. This person said no, can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And now you personalize that relationship because of the fact that it wasn't about them. It was about you making money, and your future will not unfold in front of you because now you're a victim. You're in struggle mode. You're in fear. You're in anger because you're not vibrating your future. See, the future exists because you already know it exists. Bill already knew he was going on a trip because he knew what it felt like to go to win and be on stage. That's what I want everybody to realize. You are part of a company that's going to unfold in 2020, and I would tell you that if you are excited right now, just wait as we go to nationals and the 2020 unfolds. Your life will unfold in front of you as long as you're doing the work to connect to another human being. If you are not prospecting, if you're not doing the work, then the only person literally that lives in the fear of going out and connecting to a person is you. You created your reality. That's what's so flippin' amazing for those that understand how to evolve your future, is that you already know how to do this. Amazing.
You know what I
I
love?
love your life.
Yeah. You know, what I get, if people can recognize this, is you mentioned it a little earlier too, when you were talking to that guy at the restaurant, is that if folks, you can see the passion and the conviction and the belief and the core belief that James has. And Michael talks about that quite often. Your passion will come from your education and really diving into it and really understanding it and watching it more than once, whether you've applied it or not. And then your passion and your conviction will come as you continue to get on these calls and go to the events and learn people's stories regardless of your own. And so, and you can see that in James. And I see that you can see when you have that type of conviction and passion that James displayed this hour, the fear is gone because you just know and believe. And if someone is not interested in what it is that you're talking about and feeling and doing, he doesn't latch onto that. He's looking for the folks that are interested in that and want to hear his passion and his conviction and belief. And so, James, thank you for being on the call today. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm glad you and I got a chance to speak last week. I'm getting a lot of texts and comments rather about thanks and powerful training, great calls, great training. You really brought it today. As a PAC member and a leader and understanding the vision of Renatus, I thank you personally for being here and being my friend and sharing, man. Any last minute words, my friend?
I'll go back into fear. When the slope is like this, Bill, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely.
By the way, if you don't know balance, rotary, edge, and pressure, and know that you could die without the skill set, then start on a slope like this and learn how to pizza yourself up. But as the hill gets bigger, the adrenaline goes up. And we are adrenaline junkies because we love to win. We love to enjoy life. And I want to know that, man, when I show you the mountain that we just jumped off of, if you don't have the skill set, which means I put a lot of time and effort into learning the skiing. I put a lot in golfing. I put a lot in Renatus. I'm a closer. I know how to, words have meaning. So I said, well, good. If I'm going to be a good connector, I need to, question-based selling is going to be my Bible. Question-based selling is because I need to learn how to ask questions. And then when I go in close, I need to learn how to connect those questions to a close. And I need to know how to overcome objections, and if you're not there yet, use the volleyball concept. Volleyball means that it's almost impossible to play volleyball by yourself and win the game. So learn how to do a three-way. Learn how to get your prospect into, testimonials and videos. Learn how to bring somebody, your five-star, into the equation. Learn how to three-way messenger. Learn how to three-way text. Learn how to use all of these events to help people overcome those fears and those objections. And literally play volleyball, because we're a team. And team together, everyone achieves more. So get with your five-star, get with your one-star, and literally play the game of volleyball with your prospects. And just like we did on this training, it was a great training because we played volleyball.
Yep.
We played volleyball. Me and Bill were back and forth, and we played volleyball to give you an experience. And I'm looking at Bill's heart, and I know where Bill's at. I love this man, and I love everyone on this call, and I love everybody part of Renatus, and I love Bob Snyder, and I love this path. See, this is a journey. Success is a journey, not a destination. We have to know that the future exists, but live in your heart right now what you've already created. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you guys at Nationals.
All right, right on, James. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for being here.
You
Thanks,
are
James,
not going to want to miss Nationals.
Absolutely.
I'm going to unload it, man. The flower is going to unfold in front of you. And if you're not at Nationals, you will miss the biggest opportunity and things that are being trained and things. Oh, I'm just saying, Nationals, baby.
Absolutely. All right, folks, make it a great day. Happy Tuesday. Love you guys. See you next week. James, thanks for your time. We love you, brother. Everybody, thank you for your time. You are amazing. Make it a great day. Make something happen. Good luck, folks. Talk to you soon.